Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Welcome back and thanks for tuning in on this episode. We've got a great one for learning mid-tier scouts, or is it a light? That's what we're going to talk about. When are you a light tank? When are you a medium? And when are you a scout? Because just the fact that you're driving a light tank doesn't mean that you always have to be away from the fight or always avoid a fight. And let's talk about that because we have Enron here. I'm not sure if he sent me one in. If he has, it's only been a couple. He's in his WZ-131 Tier 7 Chinese light tank, which, as you can see, looks a lot like the Russian Hover Medium, so it's built on that kind of idea and chassis. But it is a light tank, not great armor. The turret's okay. This is kind of the heavy of light tanks. The Chinese line tends to do more damage, be a little bit less stealthy and mobile in general. So let's talk a little bit about his setup from what we can see right here as well, because I think it's important. He's got a camo net, but I don't see any binoculars. So if you're going to run a camo net, I would suggest binoculars because you're thinking about being more of a passive kind of guy or having that good passive capability, in my opinion. Not sure if you're running optics. If you are running optics, I would ditch the camo net if you're not going to go with the binoculars. Pick up vents and the gun rammer, or potentially, if this thing has a vert stab, don't know, vert stab and a gun rammer, which means what you're doing is you are optimizing its offensive capability as opposed to its passive scouting capability. I feel like maybe you've got a bit of a weird mixture right here. Your ammo loadout looks fair, 25, 12, and 10. I would probably get rid of some of the 10. Counter scout, probably a decent idea. I don't know if you need that much HE. Still, it's got a lot of shells, so it's a bit of a quibble, to be quite honest. We've loaded into Fisherman's Bay here, into the north spawn, and we're headed down to the south. So let's get going with the action here from Enron and his WZ-131, and I like his initial positioning. He's looking to come up here and see if he can't get some spots. So we're going to talk about quite a bit here is when are you a scout and when are you a light tank, and when do you need to swing into a medium role. These Chinese WZs excel in being able to turn into a lightium, which is a light tank that fights a little bit like a medium and can do some medium things. That means they're going to get in people's faces and take them on when they need to, when they can assassinate near deads. Now, Enron's team is a bit campy. Type 59's taken a forward position. Enron didn't see a whole bunch. But what I saw from you right there, and I'm going to discuss this as we go, is your positioning and instincts on where to go is good. What you do when you get there needs a bit of work. There's not a whole lot of aggression. It's a lot of kind of waiting. Now, break, be careful about aggression in light tanks, right? It can get you dead very quickly. So what I'm not saying is YOLO, but what I am saying is sometimes you need to get in there, and we'll talk about that as we go. Here comes Kentucky Fried Chicken in his KV-85, and the enemy has decided to make a fairly bold push up the west side. Somebody has a brand new wheeled vehicle, their AMD 178B, feeling it's very fast, and unfortunately he's walked right into the enemy. The good news for the enemy, though, is they have caught out the RHM and killed him by an aggressive move up underneath. And Enron's come around here to react. I like that. You saw it. That's exactly right. But we're just kind of wandering around. What's the plan here? Okay, so you see the 178 die. Now I'm thinking, okay, we're just going to come down here and help these guys out. All right, this is a critical point in this battle right here. All right, they're down 2. You're down 1. They've got a lot of guys lit. They're making kind of a hard push, and they've pushed into your strength. You got a lot of guns here. Everyone's shooting at everybody, and you are unspotted right now. This spot right here is actually very good for diving down and hugging this wall and getting shots on guys camping behind this rock right here, because they have to come around quite a bit to get shots on you. They're not just going to peek out and shoot you. Artillery is a factor, obviously. And they're all busy shooting each other right now. Nobody's really paying attention to you yet. So let's see what you do. I'm thinking you're going to get down there and get some business. No. And we go right to here. KV-85 takes a couple hits, and we sit there. So I think an opportunity lost to come around this corner and help this Type 59 take out this KV-85. This is a problem. He has to go away. The KV-85, or sorry, the Type 59 is pinned down. He cannot do anything until this guy's gone. And if he comes around the corner, especially that right side, which is where he should not be, he needs to come around the left side. He could probably munch up this KV-85. He doesn't play very well as far as that goes. But this guy's got to go away to free up the rest of us back here to start moving forward. All right, plus it's a pretty good gun if he's got that high alpha gun on there. that means you have to be careful. You don't want to just go walk down there and let him shoot you multiple times. Now let's talk about your positioning right here, because this was an interesting decision for me. You're poking out of the bush. This bush is covering you. This bush is covering you. But if you look at this, there's a big wide open spot right here. And I'm not sure if the middle spotting point on your hole is exposed. And maybe even, I don't know, maybe you just lucked out, or this is the greatest positioning decision known to man. There is a spot up here on the top of the turret, and I'm not sure if it's actually in the bush or not. But in any event, I don't think I'd be poking out of the bush that far. Go ahead and back up, maybe shift over to the right a little bit so you can put some double bush. It would have to be a fairly specific line of sight, guy coming around the corner, but still, it's not a great spot as far as that goes. And we're going to see here for a while. So back to what I was talking about earlier, you made a great decision to react, but you haven't done anything. You got some spotting, noted. That's good. There goes the M10. He's crossing. He didn't see you. Camo net's up, right? So there you go. You're probably thinking, well, Guido, my camo net saved me, so shut up about the camo net. You get some spotting on the M10. That's fine. So now you got an M10 there. You've got a Centurion somewhere up in there as well, and this KV-85. And let's take a look at your 59's at 1,101 hit points, all right? Hit points are a reserve. Hit points are a resource. You spend them wisely during the game when you can, when you have to. Let's put it have to, not can. To gain an advantage. And the advantage your team needs right now is to clean up this lane on the side, right? This flank. The 85's near dead. The M10's near dead. The Centurion's got damage, and you've got one of your tier 8s pinned down. Now, I think he could have played it better. Looks like maybe the KV-85 does not have the big gun, from what I can tell. Lots of shots going back. There's 169 off the 59, and still we're just sitting here. The M10 is out of play for you, okay? What you need to be doing now is coming through these bushes, down this little dip right here, auto-aim the KV-85, or aim if you want to, third person as well, depends on how good you are at those two things, and shoot that KV-85 and entice this Type 59 to gang tackle him, and in 2 shots you guys got him dead. What is the alpha on yours? 200 alpha. He's got 200 something alpha, so you may have to take another shot in there. But as you go by and shoot him, that's going to surprise him. They still don't know you're there, by the way. He's going to be spinning around to try to get you. The Type 59 may be able to come around and go after and take him down. You're going to tuck up against this side right here, which makes it very difficult for anyone over here to get shots on you. If they want it, they have to come way out and expose themselves to all these guys back here. So that entire calculus should be going through your brain right now. But we see an 85. He backs off. And we're just going to hang out. All right, now. Fine, you made the decision not to go. You didn't want to trade the hit points for the KV-85. All good. Maybe you're worried about artillery. Perfect. Now is definitely the time to go. As soon as you saw that guy go down to a one-shot like that, I'd have hit W, come straight down here and killed him off before he could even turn his gun to me. Freeze up the Type 59 and you and all these guys, and off we go. We nom 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 down the south on the west side. And we're going to sit. And we're not going to take... Oh, there we go. We did take a shot. So good. And the 85 goes down. All right. Good deal. 30-45. Got the KV-85 in there. That whole series took quite a bit of time. I didn't time it, but it was at least a minute, maybe 2 minutes. In this game, the faster you take out guns on the enemy side, the better for your team. The longer you let the guns sit, sometimes even if they're not shooting at you, they're only stopping you, that's a net negative for your team, because the other flanks, if they're losing, lose more hit points. See what I'm saying? The other sides lose more hit points. You sit, yeah, you're doing fine. You're not losing hit points, but other places on the board are losing hit points. Or you're losing territory, or you're losing positioning, potentially. So what you want to do is get rid of the enemy tanks as fast as possible without trading too much of your hit points. Now you get spotted here, and we start to back up. You had to know you were going to get spotted by that M10 because of that opening in the bush that I discussed earlier. And that was the exact perfect position where someone would see you based on where you were in that bush. So now we come out of there and we're starting to kind of look around. We're like, all right, I'm a light tank. I'm going to go spot some things. And you wander away. Come up this way. Kind of look, see if we can get a shot on the Centurion. Do a little turn. There goes our 25/2 and the Type 59 pushing up. So we wander back around over here and we get spotted. Okay, good, good, Good idea. Get out of the line of sight of the gun. Drop down low. And we head over to the other side, which initially I was a little bit surprised, and then the E25 shows up. I'm thinking, okay, well, fair enough. We're going to react. So I like the instinct there. Personally, I'd have been pushing up with the 59 and the JPZ-4 and the 25-2 to clean up that flank over there. But you see a threat. Unfortunately, he ends up getting your M44, and you go at him. And then I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Why aren't we just pushing in on this guy and taking him out? Let's look what's going on. There is a stirve back here somewhere. The T-29 cleaned up the IS, by the way. That's that discussion I had earlier about taking guns out as fast as possible because other sides may be losing. Looks like your IS ran out of time. Nobody was able to flex over or take the pressure off or make the T-29 think like he may need to go back because we were all stagnated over here futzing around. And now we've got an E-25 behind us. The T-29 now is loose in the town. 12T's giving us good SA that he's not too close, at least in this area. And the E-25 needs to be dealt with, and we just sort of wander over here. And we really have this, I'm thinking at this point, let me give you what your camera's doing. We really have this, I'm a scout tank mentality right now when you need to swing into, I'm a light tank, medium tank. Go kill this guy. You get a shot, you had to know you're going to be spotted. Thank goodness he didn't hit you. And now go get him. He's a one-shot. W, man, you need to be pushing, and he's going to run off. So, okay, we'll take a shot. Dang it, that happens. And we back up. We back up. So I don't know if you're thinking, well, I need to avoid Artie or I'm worried about the T-29, but if you look down there, the T-29 is actually not a factor immediately, but if you let that E-25 get back to him, he certainly is going to be. Artillery goes in. The problem with letting E-25 start to move is they're so fast, you never know where they're going to get to. They may just plain old get away, get in a bush, and now you've got to push into a bush that has an E-25, right? That's not what you want. You got him lit, push after that dude. He's running. Guess what? His gun points forward. As long as he's running, he can't shoot at you anyway. And the 12T gets it. He goes down there and nukes this guy. I don't know if he's missing multiple. There we go. So he gets him. All right, good. So we've dealt with that. Good on you. You got down there. You got the E-25 out of the deal. And we head off this way. Now earlier I said, well, you took a really roundabout way to get to the E-25. And now you're taking a shortcut straight across where potentially there's a T-29 sitting there looking into the field. I would have definitely gone back up this way rather than come across here when there could easily be a T-29 sitting around right in one of these roads right here. That's where he was last seen. He's down here somewhere. And we get very lucky that he is turtled up or gone somewhere else or is just not getting to a point where he's got line of sight with you. And now we just kind of drone right up the middle. And drone up the middle, and we actually park, knock a tree down, try to avoid doing that. We just park right here. Well, that's very, very dangerous. You're going to get away with it. But the T-29 could easily be hanging out down here. He's got a nice line of sight straight up into your side, or come around the corner, or maybe even just break out into the field right here, shoot you in the side. And if there's guys down here in these bushes or hanging out down here, it's just really an exposed position. So if you're going to do something like that, use the building more as cover. Or potentially what I'd have done is come up here because there's some bushes up here. That's just map awareness. You got these bushes first. So come around wide, come back up here, which is a good position. Get into these bushes and then look down here. See if you can see the T-29 moving around. If not, come up high through these buildings and get into their bushes and look, and I think they're about right here, and then look down to the south because there's the 3001D there. The T-3045 has already proven there's probably not anybody up here, so you can move around a little bit, especially as a scout with your good movement camo, up in these buildings and move back and forth and see if you can start spotting guys down here. So position-wise, it's not a bad idea where you are. It's just the macro position within that area was a little curious to me. So we're going to sit here for a bit and move. That's fine. You didn't see anything, so I think that's a good idea. You're going to go back. Again, I think you're, once again, moving back into the T-29's territory, and this is just a really dangerous move for you right here. There's no reason to tempt the T-29 that close. Just back away from where he is. You'll find him. If he breaks out into the open, you're going to find him. But don't let him find you first or at the same time. That is exactly not what you want. And who knows where he's gone. We'll see him a little bit later. So we're going to come across here, and we have the same issue. I had a long discussion about it just a moment ago, but just look at where you park yourself. Burp. All right, let's just sit out here in the open and see if somebody in a bush maybe here or over here, or they just happen to be driving up the field, ends up seeing me, and then 3 or 4 guns from over here whack me because you're just completely exposed. There's no place to get away other than maybe behind this, but there's also 2 artillery involved coming from probably down here. So just a really bad decision right here is there's bushes here that work. You can use the edge of this building just to peek around. You could even use the edge of this building, not ideal, but anything other than sitting out in the open. Now let's look at this, because this was curious to me as well. If I can get this to work. Maybe you're auto-aimed here. In any event, this is your view, and you do this quite a bit. You're firing in sniper mode, but from far away. Now, this is to taste. If you're good at it, you're good at it, right? I can't argue if you hit people as much as I do by zooming in, but I really think here, a little bit more zoom in gives you a better idea what's going on, because while you have him highlighted here, the ground is actually right there. That slope is blocking. He's pretty well hulled down. And unless that's the side of his turret, and I think he's actually pointing towards you, might be away, but I think it's towards you. I can't remember which side the hatch is on. You're going to have a hard time pinning that. So we shoot, probably hit the ground, or maybe went high. And, oh, by the way, shooting right there, we just reduced our camo. Look how close inside the circles this guy is. The good news is you got some other bushes between the two of you, but there's also the unspotted 3485M hanging out right there. Extremely dangerous. I'd have shot and just immediately moved. If I thought I could get away with that shot, I'd have done it and then immediately moved on. So we're just really hanging out. And again, I ask this a lot of people when I'm reviewing their gameplay. Another missed opportunity there. What's the plan? Right? This seems a very reactive style of gameplay right now. I'm just kind of going back and forth and looking for shots that appear as opposed to trying to help my team create shots. Your 3485 is nearly dead. Your 59 is nearly dead. And the 12T is nearly dead. The 25-2 actually ran away and went all the way to the back. And you've lost an entire other flank. And we're just going to kind of hang out here and hope against all hope that the Centurion makes some kind of mistake against our guys. You have a full hit point tank right now. Right? It's time to start pressing a little bit. Now this was good. You notice the T-29, fantastic. We drive across here, start to zoom in, and guess what happens? Because we're hanging out in the open, that 3045 behind us saw us. We take a hit from him, and off we go. So you get rid of the T-29. That was good. So what's the plan? Actually, let's get through this first because this is interesting. I was thinking you need to fix your loader, and you have to stop. This is just working the keys. I'm not sure how you have them bound, what your HOTAS is for the keys, but you should be able to fix a loader on the move instead of having to stop. That's just something you'd have to practice on. Everyone's got their own issues, so without saying what it is or getting too worried about it, if you could repair things while moving, that would be very good. So I'm thinking, okay, he's going to come over here and he's going to help the 59 and the 12T take on this 251 hit point Centurion. And yes, we got to worry about the 3485, but this is where our strength is. This is where all our tanks are. Let's get in there and help these guys. We can make it. No. We stop. We wander forward. If you're going to approach something like this, a defensive position, doing it up on the ridge is the wrong idea. Immediately dive down into this low area so you can maybe even sneak in, and at the very least minimize their ability to shoot you. And now you do get low, so good on you. You thought better of it. Coming on here, Type 59, and the same discussion I had earlier. Just jump on this guy. And this was strange to me. Look, you come in here, and now we're in zoom trying to shoot the Centurion. We come around and park right behind him. Let's see if I can get, there we go. When you go after somebody, when you make a move, right, breaking cover, coming out, and taking them on, you need to have a follow-on plan. Now, the 3045, you knew that guy was back up there somewhere, and there's probably even more guys that, because there's someone spotted, or maybe even somebody else up there. Map knowledge makes me know that this spot right here is over here in this dip, covered up by this ridge, is where I want to be. So I'm going to come off of this. I'm going to auto-aim the Centurion, or third-person aim. Shoot him on my way to here, because I have a reasonable expectation of hitting him. And then spin my front armor around. As his turret turns around, hopefully the Type 59 comes out over here and finishes him off. If he doesn't, then I finish him off with my second shot. Maybe I lose some hit points. But if I'm maneuvering down here, at least I'm putting my front armor to him, and maybe I get a goofy bounce. But if I split the difference, I come over here and I slow down on the ridge. I zoom in because I'm trying to aim in this kind of mode right here. I end up taking hits I don't want to take. And then we go all the way around here. We take another hit, another hit. Finally, we get that guy. And notice that hit came from an IKV up here. That's why I want to be in this spot, right? So all of my bold moves are done with the idea that I am minimizing my exposure to everything else that I can. And this spot right here gives me all day shots into the Centurion and minimizes any shots from back behind me. The 30-45 has to get aggressive and come out, and that's where he eats shots, and he did eventually, but he also got a shot on me in there, maybe even two. Yeah, it looks like two at the end of the day. So a misplay coming around here, and you take at least 2 hits you didn't need to take. Why is that important? Because that's options later. You're now at a 1 shot to a lot of the tanks, if not all of them, as I look at them. Pretty close, maybe not the Sturv. Out there fires pretty quickly. So that hurts my capability for the rest of the battle. All right, so let's keep going. We know here's something else, and hopefully you noticed this. I'm sure you did, but now I know, and I already mentioned it. Now you know where the IKV is. That's SA. I know because I was hit by the guy, and the direction was from up here. It makes sense. It's a pretty standard TD spot, but at least I know that's where he was at what, 10 seconds ago, 15 seconds ago. This is an old spot. Who knows where this dude is? This is an old spot. Who knows where that guy is? They could be anywhere on the map that's not very close to one of my green guys. So this whole part of the map is in play for every tank that they have left. But 10 seconds ago, I know that dude was right there. That dude was right there. So now I'm going to hang out, and I'm not really sure what's going on here. I thought you were going to start typing for a minute, but what I think maybe is happening is you're waiting for your commander to get fixed because you're 15 seconds away from your med kit being ready, but your Type 59 is pushing in, and he's getting no support. Takes a shot. There's the IKV. As soon as you saw that, you should have backed straight out and taken a shot and looked to take a shot on that IKV 65 too. But we're just going to sit here and chill, and finally you see it. And unfortunately, the 59 is going to eat it. Had you reacted faster, there would have been a shot. You didn't need your commander for somebody else spotting for you. And now I think we're going to fix it here. It looks like you have to stop again. This takes a while. There we go. So we find the commander number and we get him fixed. But unfortunately, in the interim, we've lost our Type 59 because we just sort of hung out there. This is the SA part of the game. It's the part that is hard to teach and takes quite a bit of effort to learn. Because sometimes the concrete examples of what SA is are hard to come by, but that was certainly one of them. Now you get spotting damage and he's dead. That's good, fantastic, but unfortunately the Type 59 went down with the ship. And that was, quite frankly, the second or third time that you sort of let that guy hang out to dry a little bit. So 3045M's got a lot of hit points. 25/2 is moving up. Goodness knows where that 3001 is. If he was spotted down there, it's a good guess that he's probably camping still. Yeah, there you go. He didn't go far. When you find somebody late game spotted, because that spot was relatively late game, maybe mid game, yeah, I'd call it. You find somebody sitting that close to the cap, mid to later in a game, they're probably not very far away from the cap. That's kind of their MO. That's where they're going to be. So we come up here, we're looking around now. Okay, we spot a M12, and we do this. Once you spotted him, right, do not go around the corner. You need to know which way he's pointing. I'd have gone here, I'd have zoomed out like this. I'd put my cursor over here on this dude, like that, and go, oh, he's pointing at me, because I can look at the highlight and I understand the shape of that tank. So the last thing I want to do is just drive around this corner. If I am going to come in and look for a shot, it's going to be that shot, or the minimum amount that I can get into his hole without exposing myself. He's probably going to splash me anyway. But what I don't do is this. I'm going to get you. No, you're not. You're going to get shotgunned. He is up against that thing waiting for somebody to come around the corner so he can shotgun them. The good news is, as long as he's doing that and not shooting anyone else, that helps the team. That's one less artillery piece that's shooting at us. And then you can start maneuvering around over here and figure out how to get around them. They don't turn very fast, so there's a possibility that you could get up and around this and come around behind them. At the very least, it makes him start to maneuver in here and worry about what's going on. You would have to be careful about exposing yourself to the 3001 on this side of the hill potentially, because now you're lit via the proxy light. But yeah, the wrong answer was to go right at him right there. There is an argument to be made for speed. Just keep the W, keep the pedal to the floor, and just come hauling ass around this corner right here. But at that range, he's probably going to shotgun you anyway. So just don't give him the opportunity. All right, man. 831 damage, 2,110 spotting. A good little game all around. I think the decision making, as far as what you're thinking in the macro sense and the meta sense, you're doing a lot of decision making that is correct. You're going to places that need to be helped. What you're doing when you get there is a little bit over passive, and there's some snap decision making SA wise that needs to be done so that you can exploit and leverage opportunities. And that's the hardest thing to learn in the game, learning how to exploit and leverage sometimes fleeting opportunities without being over aggressive. Now, if you start pressing a little bit, you're going to make some mistakes, but learn, instead of getting frustrated, learn from them. Don't get mad and say, well, I'm going back to hanging out in the bush. I'm not doing that ever again. Go, okay, how did that go wrong? What was wrong there? Oh, well, there was 3 guns I didn't know about that I pushed into. Okay, so next time I look like I think I want to go in there and assassinate a near dead, maybe if I look at the map and go, you know what, there's 3 unspotted TDs, and that's the likeliest TD spot on the entire map. My team is showing that they're probably not anywhere else, so maybe I don't try to run out around the corner and kill this one guy. Probably need to take a different tact, right? Or in the case of we had today, the solid one, you go, you know what? He's a one-shot. Let me dive down there and kill him real quick. Go to my next position to cover up so I don't take extra damage, and then we'll move on. Those are just 2 examples for you. All right, man, thanks for sending this in. I really appreciate it. This was a great learning video, I think, for everybody, especially for the new to intermediate players in mid-tier. Learning how to drive a scout is very difficult, and if you learn how to do it well, you become a much, much better player. All right, guys, that's all I got. See ya.